This is our standard setup for commercial operations. It's designed for the infrastructure scanning that we normally do. It consists of a trailer that can be towed behind any road vehicle. The trailer both carries the drone, the aircraft, and it doubles as a mobile ground control station. You'll see it has a desk with screens inside, a generator. A lot of the aerials you see sticking out are purely for civilian comms with other airspace users. All you really need to fly the aircraft is a laptop and a Starlink. As you can see with the trolley, the industrial design of the system is quite mature. Everything has a place, everything has a procedure. It's in production. Many have been built, thousands of hours of flying. You know exactly what the process and procedure is.
Connect to here.
So here is the aircraft fully assembled 5 minutes after it's off the trailer. As you saw from the details, everything clicks on with no tools. We've got a button for the tail and latches for the wings. Just a quick overview of the features. You can have either 4 or 8 VTOL, vertical takeoff and landing motors. We have 8 for redundancy. You can see the aircraft has forward-looking and downward-looking FPV, first-person view, to give the pilot a view of what's in front and below the aircraft. We have Starlink, which is our main method of communication that allows the aircraft to have an infinite radio range. Behind that we have an ADS-B aerial. And we also have cellular connectivity, so that's for 4G, 5G, LTE with 2 SIM cards, as well as having a mesh radio. So there are several ways to communicate to and from the aircraft. You'll see also the control surfaces. We have twin rudders. Each rudder has its own power. If you lose a rudder servo, you still have the other one. The elevators are split left and right. We have redundant GPS pucks and redundant airspeed sensors. And you'll see on the wingtip we have antennas for radio over IP, which is airband radio, which allows the aircraft to talk to other airspace users from its location and then relay that transmission via Starlink to the pilot. Otherwise quite simple. We have ailerons on the wings. We have hatches in the booms for the VTOL batteries, which we'll show you in a second. Main hatch on the front to access the payload, and we've just got it sitting on a tarp ready to take off. So on propulsion and flight modes, we have a vertical takeoff system which is all electric, and then in horizontal flight we have a pusher motor, which is a 2-cylinder, 2-stroke off-the-shelf engine. It's packaged on that carbon fiber bulkhead that you can see as a line replaceable unit, so that whole part there comes off and can be replaced, so engine swaps are very quick. It also has a starter generator which allows you to crank it remotely. You can turn it off and back on in flight, and when the engine is running, that starter doubles as a generator and provides electrical power to the system. Currently fueling the aircraft using the pump that's built into the trolley. Just worth pointing out the modularity of the system. So the VTOL booms are self-contained line replaceable units. As you can see, they plug in between the wing box and the wing itself. Easy to replace, easy to remove. Each corner with the 4 or 8 VTOL rotors is also line replaceable in its own right. In the payload bay, we have room for up to 5 kilos, about 250 mil by 200 mil. You can see at the front we have 2 separate batteries for the avionics as a backup in case the generator fails. And it all plugs in very straightforward. The aircraft switches on. The hatch closes and we're ready for our final checks, and then we can fly. So as you can see, the system has been designed to be practical, easy to use and mature.
A set loader radius of 230 metres counterclockwise and set airspeed of 27 metres a second. Happy with those. Current engine temperature is above minimum and we've got no pre-arm warnings. So now the aircraft is established in flight. It's following a pre-programmed pattern, going through those green waypoints as programmed. You can see the first-person view on the right looking forward, and on the bottom right looking down, the artificial horizon and the various data from the flight. And then on the separate screen we have the payload view. This is the payload camera, which is able to zoom, pan, tilt, object track. It's the standard payload that we integrate. We have various options on the specs for it, and it can be flown separately from the aircraft. So the pilot now has that little game controller, which is controlling the payload and enabling him to follow targets. The aircraft's flying itself. We do have another pilot watching the aircraft just in case, but effectively the payload operator is concentrating on getting the intelligence, the ISR. The point of the mission is to go and find objects, track them, and give information to the people who need it. And this feed from the payload can be piped anywhere. With Starlink, it can be sent remotely to a headquarter somewhere hundreds of miles away. It can be sent to other people out in the field. It can be shared in real time as required. It's totally independent of the aircraft telemetry. This is a flight tracking app that follows air traffic based on ADS-B data. You can see all the civilian commercial air traffic near Sydney Airport and military air traffic near Richmond, the RAAF base. And here you can see the Carbonix aircraft flying in real time. If I click on it, it'll give the identity, which is CX RPAS-2, showing the track. So we're visible to other airspace users and to air traffic control. This is standard with Ottano.